Make sure I get the likes up. Get the likes up. What's going on? Welcome to King Talk on the Lapeef Network. Let me introduce the crew. We got Earl. We got Rilla. We got Shan, Ricky, Humble Dad, Blue Door Dave, and me, myself, on Lapeef JR. Welcome to King Talk on the Lapeef Network. How you gentlemen doing? How y'all doing?
Doing good.
Everything's great.
Everything great.
My favorite
Awesome Tuesday. Awesome Tuesday.
Yeah,
What happened to everything is everything? Did like the motto change or something?
No, man, I just got some news about a boxer, man. I got it lined up, so I'm happy. I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So everything is great today. It's great.
That's so good.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, it's good.
He must got some bets placed.
Man.
That sounds like some bets is placed.
Hey, shh.
I know. I'm telling all the secrets now. Well, appreciate you guys tuning in to King Talk. Before we get the show started, make sure you guys hit the like button right now. Also, subscribe to the channel. Memberships are open. Green Gang, I see you guys. Let me go ahead and shout you guys out per usual. There you go. I see y'all. Thank you. And also, shout out to the sponsor, Teej Hanley. Shout out to Teej Hanley. That link is posted inside of the description. So go ahead and click that link to get your 30% off as well as a free gift. So shout out to the sponsor, Teej Hanley. It's going to be a great show, you guys. The reason it's going to be great is because we often speak about the men and their relationships and marriages and just everyday life. But something that we haven't covered yet, and I plan on doing more of this, is getting to the bag, leveling up. So I invited Blue Door Dave, and also Earl Solomon up to kind of tell us a little bit about ourselves and about themselves, and also give us the game. So shout out to them, man. Appreciate you guys. Let me see if I can adjust y'all accordingly real quick. Put y'all together. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna start off with you, Earl. I want you to introduce yourself. Don't give too much because we're gonna kind of dive into that, but just introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to the conversation. My name is Earl Solomon. I'm the office manager at Ani Real Estate. Been a real estate broker for 10 years. Married for 15 years, 5 beautiful children. And what can I say? I'm excited, man. I'm excited. We got plays. We run a lot of plays, and it's so many different plays that we have for you. I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to accommodate quite a few of your audience members too. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Hey, Blue Door Dave. Let's go, brother. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
What's good? David Thomas, a.k.a. Blue Door Dave. I've been in real estate for the past 20 years. I started in 2002 when I was graduating from U of I. Pretty much run my own real estate office currently. And, man, I'm excited tonight. Love what I do, so I love having this conversation.
Man, that's what's up, man. 20 years. 20 and 10, right? That's what I heard correctly?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. It's a lot of experience in the house, man. Well, I definitely look forward to this conversation, man. It's going to be epic. Make sure you guys get your pen and notepads because we're going to dive right into it. I want to start off by asking you guys individually, what made you get into real estate? I'm going to start with you, Earl.
Yeah, with me, actually, my manager, broker Lutalo McGee, he sold me our property back in 2009. So it was that impact that I had, the way he, handled the transaction, and how I knew. This is something I knew prior to getting into real estate. I knew how significant, accumulating wealth is in real estate. It's an easier avenue, I would say, compared to other avenues. So why reinvent the wheel? So, my undergrad is in econ, and I was just trying to find a way to, leverage that degree. And this is the best thing for it. I mean, everybody needs a place to live. So this is perfect.
All right, what about you, Dave?
Man, I've been an entrepreneur a long time. I mean, back to grammar school, I was selling newspapers when I first started. But a friend actually introduced me to the game. He was investing in real estate back then, 20 years ago. And I didn't know what I was doing. He was pretty much my mentor. And we was the blind leading the blind. And that's how I got started in the business. So I was fortunate enough where I was able to take that initial introduction and grow that to actually learning about the business, understanding more about the business. And now, continuing to grow it even more 20 years later. So.
Okay. Got another question for you guys. I'm pretty sure you guys, well, you may have known the importance of real estate, but fast forward for the people that doesn't know and not familiar, how important is real estate when it comes to building wealth?
Oh man, to me it's huge. I would say that and life insurance are the two most significant things that we can do to reduce that wealth barrier, that wealth gap discrepancy that's going on right now. Definitely real estate.
Yeah, I pretty much would echo the same. I think it's critical. There are a ton of ways you can build wealth, through ideas, through investing. There are a ton of ways. But to be honest, I feel like real estate is such an easy and tangible way to do it. And it's just becoming easier through a lot of the guidelines and options that are out here for people to actually own. So I think it's critical. And then back to kind of what Solomon was saying, Earl was saying, life insurance is critical, man. I've been actually licensed to sell that for a long time. And that was a huge part of building wealth and transferring wealth. So it's critical.
And real estate is the number one wealth builder in the world. Last I checked. Last I remember, 80% of all millionaires worldwide, not just America, worldwide. So we're talking Bangladesh, Australia, Canada. It doesn't matter where you at, wherever there's landmass on the planet. 80% of all millionaires on the planet has built their wealth in some capacity through real estate. And real estate is the human being's number one wealth builder. So we got to remember that as well.
Can't go wrong. You can, but plan is to not go wrong.
Hey, just really quick though, you guys, and I've heard this plenty of times. You also said that, insurance is a cornerstone for wealth building too, right? So break that down for, the 5-year-old in the audience who may not understand. Like, what do? I just get a life insurance policy, a term life insurance policy, and if I get that, I'm good?
Yeah, well, for me, prior to being a real estate agent, I used to do life insurance. I had a life insurance license, but I didn't sell not one policy actually, but I did get a lot of information. And I just realized that, first of all, considering that, they're trying to kill us like it's a sport. I mean, that would be a smart investment to begin with. First of all. All right. And second of all, it's a situation where you're paying an extra $40 a month. If you start early, you're paying $40 a month, treat it like an extra cell phone bill or something like that. Right. OK, Lord forbid something happens. You have, $100,000, $200,000 where you can allocate toward a proper funeral burial opposed to passing around the hat, accumulating debt. All right. So this is a situation where the rest of the proceeds can be allocated toward a down payment toward a building, a 16-unit building or something like that. So that's how fast it moves. When you're talking about big money like that, you're able to make, big moves in real time.
So
have any of you guys heard, or are any of you guys familiar, seeing how you're familiar with life insurance? We're using insurance policies for private banking.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what I was going to lean on. So I had my life insurance license for years, pretty much the same amount of time I've been in real estate. And just like real estate, there's a bunch of different ways you can invest and utilize it, you know, whether it be doing wholesaling, whether it be flipping, whether it be buying hold, whether it be the Bird method. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can make money doing real estate. Well, the use of life insurance is very similar, whereas you can utilize it a bunch of different ways. But the key similarities, in my opinion, is leverage. You know, leverage on real estate, leverage on life insurance. You know, you can take, Earl talked about $40, $100, whatever. You could turn that into a $250,000 policy, $300,000 policy. It's the same thing with real estate. You take a 3% down payment, you could buy a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 building. It's all about leverage. With life insurance, it just gives you that additional ability where you can transfer it, you know, upon your demise and things of that nature. Same thing with real estate. You can do the exact same thing, transfer ownership. But just with life insurance, you can get a pure check, you know. But private banking, to go back to your question, Ricky, I utilized that when I kind of first started in real estate, and I had whole life insurance, which allows you to build that cash value. You could draw against it without losing the actual growth in a policy. You could utilize it, pay yourself back interest, and you could utilize it to invest. And that policy is still growing and actually being an asset to you, even though you pull money out of it. So there are several different ways and techniques to utilize that as far as investing and doing different things. But yeah, it's a great tool.
Thank you, Reggie.
When you said the Bird method, like I'm familiar with it, but I don't know if a lot of people are.
So, and yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to go into all of them, but yeah, the Bird method is, you know, people refer to it as, you know, buy, renovate, then you turn around and rent it out and you refinance it, and then you repeat the cycle. So you're buying property at a low cost or a value cost. You're adding value by renovating it. Then you're renting it out so the bank can see you have revenue coming in. And then from there, you're actually refinancing it. Now, if you do that strategy properly, you can actually get out your entire down payment plus possibly some additional capital and utilize that money to buy more property and continue to cycle. And you're literally able to recycle that same money that you started with and basically build an empire if you do it the correct way.
I got a question for you guys. So say somebody just got their credit together, right? And or they say their credit are always was together, and they looking to purchase property. They want to get that dream house that they've been thinking about. They've been saving up their money. They've been pouring into their 401k, and so they're ready to buy this house. Would you guys say that they should buy themselves a house or buy themselves an investment property first?
I know what I'm gonna say. Well, I'll say this. It always depends on the situation. All right, it depends on the situation. But if it's just pure question of should I buy the investment property or the house first, buy the investment property first. Let the investment property pay for the house that you're gonna live in or buy next. But I just, to extend on that, if you buy the investment property first, you typically can use a low down payment technique and buy a 1 to 4 unit property, gain that additional income from that property, and take that income and buy your house and use the profits from that property to buy your house or fund your house. That would be my advice, and I can go deeper into that, but I'll let Earl, if you want to share on it.
And you know, I mean, I got a different strategy. I would recommend, you know, maybe a 2 to 4 unit, you know, starting off as that one of those units being your primary residence, because just the level of entry is just so small. You're talking about 3.5% down, opposed to like investment property, you're talking about 20-25% down. That's relatively rough for somebody starting off. So, you know, right off of the gate, man, the first move, the 2 to 4 unit, you're collecting income. And if you do it right, it could be a situation where you'll never have to pay a mortgage again. I have clients for years, 3-4 years, that never paid a mortgage in their life. So,
but Earl, let me ask you this. So based on your strategy versus Dave's strategy, with your strategy saying by the bank wouldn't know that the first house is your investment property, so you need to put down 25%. Wouldn't we kind of like finagle the bank and be like, yo, I mean, I'm saying this is my first time house, but it's really in my mind what I'm buying is going to be my investment property. Maybe I'll tell the bank I'm going to live here. Maybe I'll send a few bills over there for a while or whatever, just to get the house first with the lower numbers as a first-time home buyer or a home buyer or primary residence buyer or whatever you want to call it, and then turn around and still use Dave's strategy to get the investment property next?
Yeah, well, we don't want to do mortgage fraud, right? Because
Well, that ain't fraud.
Well, one of the stipulations with 3.5% down and by being your primary residence, you have to reside there for at least a year, right? So after a year, you're able to do whatever you need to do, but prior to that, you won't be able to.
Oh, so you straight by the book. I'm the type of brother. Let me tell you how I am. Let me tell you what kind of brother Shannon Rawls is. I got to stay there for a year. Yes, sir. I'll stay there for a year. Yeah, I'm there for a year. Absolutely. I send all my bills over there and everything. And I sleep there every once in a while too, but I travel a lot. So, I mean, and that's not fraud. You know what I'm saying? It's not direct fraud. I'm just saying, is it a situation where, because I know the other people do all, because I'm in Los Angeles, right? And I have four homes. I got property, I got land, I got stuff in Arkansas, I got stuff all over the place, right? But I'm just thinking, isn't there ways to work things without being fraudulent or illegal? We don't want illegal. We don't want nobody doing anything that's against the law. We don't want that, right? But isn't there ways to work around or to live or to set things up, at least for somebody that's starting out, to get the investment property first? Or do you still staunchly believe that you should get your primary residence first and then go from there? Because it seems like if you get your primary, and this is just in my experience, in property that I've been dealing with over the last, I'm 50 years old, by the way, so I've been doing it for a long time. It just seems like a lot of times when you get that first house, sometimes it's tough for people to get out of that and get into the investment mindset. Whereas if they go to the investment mindset first, then they can get like a better understanding of real estate and how important it is and be able to move over into their primary residence if they ever want one.
Yeah. I'm going to chime in. So Shannon, I pretty much was saying 1 to 4 units as an investment property, but using that 3.5% down. And Earl, to kind of echo that, it's still a residential purchase. So anytime we talk in residential purchase, we can use that owner occupied loan, that low down payment at 3.5%. And Shannon, I think you're right. I think if they buy the house first and then try and go buy that 3 and 4 unit, and Earl, as you know, when we go buy the house first and then buy the 3 and 4 unit, we are putting ourselves in a position where it's 100% investment at that point, and you got to put down 20%, and it's harder to raise that capital. So you got to buy the multifamily first. We call it an investment property, but really it's a 1 to 4 unit.
Exactly.
Where you're gaining capital, you're gaining income, and utilizing that money to buy the house next, and you're still able to, utilize that system. But live in that house, man. We don't believe in committing fraud. Live in that crib.
Well, tell them why 1 to 4 and not 5 or 6.
So 5, you cross that threshold to commercial.
Yeah, it becomes an apartment building at that point.
Yeah.
Like here in LA, what we do, because we have a lot of ADUs out here. See, a lot of people purchase homes out here and just build in the back, and then people live in the back. For instance, we have a house in Toluca Lake that it's a pretty big piece of property. It's a corner unit, main house up front, unit in the back. It's treated like it's protected with a renter's protection for the tenants that we have in the front.
Gotcha.
But grandma stays in the back. You know what I'm saying? So that same thing can happen. So like you're saying, 2 to 4 units, it could still be even a single family home as long as you build an ADU in the back, and the ADU doesn't really cost much to build. You can do that for $100,000. So, I'm in LA. I'm in LA. I just want to remind. So $100,000 is
everybody have $100,000.
No matter where you at, Daddy.
You said that like, woo, I got it.
$100,000.
So yeah, we get a shack. You get a shack in LA for $500,000, you guys. Everybody, we get a shack. You get 4 walls and a toilet for $500,000 right here in LA. So,
but basically, you turn it into a 2-unit property. You turn it into a 2-unit. Where you got additional income.
That's my point. That's why. So it's not fraud. Maybe I'm thinking of a different mindset. I'm being creative. I'm more creative with it. You know what I'm saying? Where, because every house out here got a garage. I mean, most of everything that was built before 60 has a detached garage, especially in the center Los Angeles area. So, you know, and it's not connected to the main house, and those things become ADUs. And then we got a lot of these houses have yards of just grass. And so it's just all different kind of ways that you could make things happen that will satisfy the federal requirements, the bank requirements, and, you know, and everybody's happy. But I'm kind of like with Dave with make sure I'm thinking that it's better, but you guys would know because I'm not a real estate guy. I'm just an owner. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I don't, you know, in fact, Earl is a full-time broker. You know what I'm saying? So he's at the top. He's top of the food chain. But I'm just thinking that to me, it seems like it would be more conducive, especially for somebody starting out, to try to think of to be in the investment property mindset out the gate, as opposed to let me get my house out the gate, because the friends and family that I know that went and got their houses and always had a plan. Everybody has, you know, you always got a plan. What we say last week, Ricky, you always got a plan till you get punched in the mouth, right?
Yep.
Right. So you start off with your first time home and you're excited and you live in there and all that. And then you got these plans to go out and start getting these duplexes in these homes, and it just never pans out. Whereas the person that started off with the investment mindset in the beginning always found their home, and really a nice home, because now they got that income. Now they built their credit. Now they can really get what they want, that they want to live in, as opposed to getting something that they could only afford when they first started out. Right.
Go ahead, Ricky.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
I was just going to ask, like, in the climate that we are in now, how would you suggest a newcomer to real estate investing start? Seeing as though you stated so many options that are out there, what would be your suggestion to a newcomer?
I think it really depends on your financial situation, right? All right. So, like, I mean, you know, if you're struggling to come in to meet the 3.5% down payment requirement, I would suggest, you know, like I said, the two to 4 unit, 3.5% down standing unit, and, you know, just like that. I mean, that's the easiest way. You know, I mean, you can get down payment assistance as free. I'm sorry, you can get it as a gift, the full amount of 3.5% down. That's an easy way of entry. So yeah, those two things are probably the easiest.
Yeah, and then a lot of times, you know, people got to explore their options as far as financing. You know, for example, I mean, Earl mentioned the 3.5%. Then you got some people who served in our military. You got VA loans that are 100%, you know, no money down, that they could take advantage of. And then a lot of times, as real estate brokers, we don't talk about it a lot, but NACA is a real option for some people. They have 100%, you know, no money down options. It's just a process going through and taking advantage of some of these. And then some of them, when you start taking advantage of down payment assistance and different things, sometimes there are layers to your responsibility of what you need to do to qualify. So, you know, you want to work with an experienced real estate professional that can help guide you through that stuff. But there are different ways to kind of get your foot in the door. The one thing I was saying, we can talk deeper about it, is, you know, the market is getting more expensive. So I tell people, you know, the way I started, I was buying in slightly less desirable neighborhoods that I felt like I could handle personally. And, you know, that's how I was able to grow a pretty large portfolio off starting off in the less desirable neighborhoods. And now I can kind of buy in pretty much almost any neighborhood I want to buy in.
He said he started off in the hood. That's where he started.
Yeah. Call it less desirable.
Well, that's the
less
thing.
Desirable.
This the thing. I checked the website and I saw you had something available over there for Northwestern students.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we do.
Yeah. So look, I have a question. Like, so I'm assuming you in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I have a question specifically around Chicago. So as we look at places like Roseland, Roseland is near and dear to me because that's my hood.
Okay.
Inglewood,
yeah,
Bronzeville. Like, what do you see happening with the city right now? What are the investment opportunities, especially since you say like the price is going up? Like, especially in Bronzeville, I see that price going up.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
And South Shore.
Yep. Yeah.
So what do you see going on? And this is happening all over the country.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I mean, and I'll speak on it, but right now you're getting a ton of investment on the south side of Chicago, where you got, like, right now they're starting to build the Obama Center, which is in between Woodlawn, South Shore area, all of that. You're seeing a ton of investment. East on 79th Street in South Shore, ton of investment. They're giving out grants for people to invest. So you're starting to see a ton of investment going on in those neighborhoods. You mentioned Roseland, you mentioned Inglewood. These are areas, I mean, you could get a 2-unit 3 years ago for $40,000, $30,000. Now, if you get a 2-unit for $100,000, you got to put $200,000 worth of work into it because they sell them for $350,000 and $400,000. Is that going to be sustainable? I don't know, to be honest. I really don't. I can't tell you. I don't have that crystal ball. But I think we're just seeing a total influx of people investing in these different areas. I love Roseland personally. I own in Roseland. I hold in Roseland. And they're investing a ton of money in Roseland and in Pullman, in those areas and those communities. I mean, you're seeing all different races and backgrounds go to these different areas that you ain't never seen before. And it's kind of amazing. So I'm just kind of like in the midst, like watching it happen. But right now, I think it's just a great place to invest, you know. So I know I didn't answer specifically, but that's what I got for you, man.
For y'all that don't know, that's over there by 77th and Colfax, Saginaw Exchange. That's what he's talking about.
For sure, South Shore.
But you know what? I mean, I think that, first of all, born and raised in Roseland, so I'm obviously going to be biased, right? And, you know, Roseland get a bad stigma overall, but Roseland has some very good pockets, you know, all throughout too. But I just think the state of Chicago, I think it's going to hinge on, you know, the activity of ADU. Shannon mentioned that the ADUs over in LA. We have ADU sections in the city of Chicago as well too. And it's been going on since May of last year that we haven't been taking advantage of. And basically what that is this, right? So you have a 2-unit building, right? You have a 2-unit building with the basement that's unfinished. You can finish out that basement, pay the certification fee, and that will become the 3rd unit. All right. So that's going to increase for resale value tremendously. So basically you're basically purchasing a 3-flat with 2-flat money. All right. And in a climate such as this. So, you know, that can kind of, you know, you got to do tricks like that to kind of get ahead and out leverage the inflation and stuff like that too. But to sit and on the sidelines to think like, you know, these home prices are going to go down and you see everyday commodities increasing, I think that's wishful thinking.
Yeah, man. The one thing God ain't making more of his land. So,
yes,
Ricky, did you use your GI Bill yet?
Yeah.
You use yours?
Yeah.
I still haven't used mine. I've been out of the military 25 years. I still ain't used it.
I was flat broke, man.
What
so,
you waiting on?
I was flat up. So
I still ain't used it. I had
a question about that.
Ricky, Shannon, that's the best loan you could get, brother.
Everything's paid for, and I haven't bought anything new. So
got you.
I had a question about
saying he rich, basically.
Yeah. What factors do you guys look for? You know, let's say, you know, some houses are in certain condition, up, down, take your pick, right? I mean, what do you guys specifically look for to get that ROI back? I mean, what is it, the things that, you know, a new buyer should look for?
Well, you know, if you're not opposed to frame homes, I like to look at frame homes in a predominantly brick area.
What does that mean?
I'm sorry. Well, you know,
a frame home in a predominantly brick area. Like, explain that to
me.
Because
typically brick area communities tend to hold value more opposed to frame. So you look at
siding versus brick.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you, because we don't do bricks out here. So okay, I get it now. Okay,
right.
So you saying where you guys are, there's neighborhoods where almost every house was made out of bricks.
Yeah.
For instance, Roseland, it's a few blocks in Roseland like that as well too, and we took full advantage of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right, cool. So now say for instance, you have this neighborhood that have where the predominantly the houses there are made out of bricks. Are you saying that a framed home is going to be worth more than the bricked homes? Or
That's not necessarily the case. Basically, what you're doing is you're piggybacking on their value, right? Your sandwich, basically, your sandwich around equity. So you're taking advantage of that.
Got it.
The area of that.
Got it. I see what you're going.
Okay. Hey, go ahead, Ricky. I know you had a question
because this is of interest to me. As far as a investment property, you know, where you have, like you guys said, you know, 2, 3, 4 families. What do you guys think is a reasonable cost as far as a management company? You know, maintenance, things of that nature. What's your percentage that you're looking at on that?
Yeah, I see. So I'll be honest, Ricky. I don't recommend anybody getting a management company with a 2 to 4 family. It's so small that the margins aren't as big. And then especially if it's their first property, I absolutely want, they need to get their hands dirty as far as knowing what's going on with the property, understanding, you know, doing that right out the gate. To me, you kind of setting yourself up where you might be taken advantage of because you don't even know the cost that they throwing at you for, oh, we got to turn over a unit. It's going to cost you $18,000 to turn over a unit when all they doing is going in there, sweeping, painting, and doing some cleaning. And they just made $17,000 and they paid $1,000 to get it turned over. So I don't recommend it. However, the numbers that I see is anywhere from 5 to 10% on the management cost, depending on what all they're doing, what all their duties are. Are they just collecting rent? Are they, you know, what exactly are they doing? But I will tell you, 2 to 4 units, your first property, I don't recommend it at all. I say you need to be that person. Even if you long distance, be that person on the phone.
Fix that toilet yourself.
Absolutely.
Good question, Ricky. And I would agree with Dave as well, too. That's not, the profit margin is just not really there for 2 to 4. So you can compensate like this. So if you're not physically able to do it yourself, you can maybe have one of your tenants at a reduced amount of rent, you know, maybe a couple $100 or something like that, so they can take care of the common areas, get that ice to reduce their liability, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And you can always hire out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, if it's just a big deal, like you can hire a plumber or, you know what I'm saying, somebody to fix it real quick. But if you know a handyman, you can always do it as well.
That's the most important thing, too, man. You got to have a reliable handyman.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's what I got in Arkansas. 80-year-old brother that knew my dad. And he just happy to have something to do every month.
You can't.
So what's y'all take on wholesaling being one of the entry points? Because I know you were speaking more about, you know, having your credit together and then getting the 2 to 4 unit, or, you know, and then living in it. But, you know, that's how I started out, is in wholesaling, you know, and because I didn't have the money, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, what do y'all takes on, you know, starting out in that way?
So I'll say this: Illinois, you know, they've gotten really strict on the wholesaling thing, and they really want wholesalers to have a license. I think, what is it, Earl, 2? They allow you 2 sales, 2 transactions. And after that, they say you can't even do any more wholesale deals. They want you to have a license. And they really, to me, they're forcing the managing brokers, they're forcing us to manage these wholesalers. So they're just layering responsibility to make sure it's being managed a lot differently. And I'll say this, man, I think it could be a great way to enter into the business and get your capital up and start getting your stuff together. But at the same time, you just got to do it with integrity. You got to know what you're doing. And you got to do it the right way. It's not a very easy thing to do, per se. So that's just my feedback on it.
For sure. That must be, it's like in different, it depends on what state you're in. Because I'm in Texas, and we don't really have that particular issue. But it's about education,
right?
In a lot of forms. And so, you know, just like in everything, there's always somebody that is going to be crooked. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so they're trying to make it to where there is a way to kind of manage it. So I totally understand that.
I got a question for you guys. So I know you recommended people start off with like two flats, 3 flats. What if you're in a city that don't have those? What if you have in a city that just predominantly have houses? How would you guys advise as far as a strategy and to get into real estate?
So no 2 to 4 units in the city, and you want to buy locally, I'm assuming, right? Let's just assume you want to buy locally.
Should you go look somewhere and actually find that versus
if
buying
you're
that
taking
house
it,
locally?
yeah. So it's a couple of questions in there, but let's just assume we're buying a house as an investment. I mean, to me, one of the things I think you can do, and a lot of people are starting to utilize this, we got houses here in Chicago or the suburbs where we use them as Airbnbs. And last month, I think we did 7,000 on a house that we have here. So, you know, and then they also have a website called Peerspace, and there are a couple of different websites that you can use. But I mean, Peerspace is taking off to a point where, man, 3 hours, people charging $500 an hour for 3 hours to do photo shoots and all different types of stuff. So there are ways to leverage single families or single units that before just kind of was unheard of. So that's one technique you can do if you want to buy local, stay local. And then, you know, if you do it on Peerspace, you can put them out. You can still meet the requirement of sleeping there. So we own an OC and we ain't doing no mortgage fraud like we talked about with Shannon.
Hey, you know what, JR? I would say, you know, if you must do the single family, I would do the FHA 203K, the renovation loan, 3.5% down, right? Where they give you the money for the renovation. Keep your money liquid.
Yeah. And you creating great value by doing that technique, girl. For
Absolutely.
Sure.
I want to ask you guys, what are some downsides with the FHA loan?
The main downside is it's expensive over time, right? So you have a PMI that's going to go for the life of the loan now. It used to be up until 80%. Now it's for the entire life of the loan. So basically what that means is
explain to people what a PMI is.
Yes,
we got a lot of watchers that don't know.
So it's private mortgage insurance. It's just an extra it's just an extra fee on top of your loan that doesn't show up with the principal and interest. So say for instance, hypothetically, you got a $200,000 loan, which your principal and interest is one thing, but in addition to that, you may have a PMI that's maybe $100 or something like that, you know. So that takes your affordability away as well too. And you know, like I said, it's just much more you have to pay back over time. So if you can do conventional, obviously do conventional.
Right. Yeah. And that PMI or that MI, some people refer to it as MI, mortgage insurance, it stays on there for the life of the loan with FHA loans. So with it staying on there for the life of the loan now, it used to be where it falls off, but now it stays on there for the life of the loan. That is, you know, one of the things that will hold you down. And then I guess you would say sometimes getting your offer accepted. Some sellers prefer to have conventional over FHA. So sometimes that can be a discouraging thing because they can actually discriminate legally behind our backs, and we can't do nothing about it if you go FHA versus conventional. So you know, at the end of the day, work with what you can, but that would be the kind of two things I would say.
So
hey, okay. This a little bit off topic, guys. As far as it's on topic with all. So mortgage insurance, correct? Right.
Yeah.
That's to insure a mortgage if you default or foreclose, right?
That's but not in your benefit. That's in a bank's benefit. So you're paying insurance for the lender. So if you default, they get their money back, but it doesn't benefit you at all.
You still get hit.
That's ridiculous.
You get hit. You paid the MI, and you don't benefit at all.
So
you're
basically,
their insurance.
So listen, guys. This is what I'm telling y'all. Y'all got to listen to what he's saying.
Hear what I said.
He basically saying if you foreclose on your house, the bank still get their money, but you don't get your house.
Mm-hmm. And they get the house.
And it's a hit on you, and they going after you. Yeah, real talk.
You're insuring their money based on your performance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people that do the FHA loan, right? And then there's that PMI. If you refinance, let's say after a year or so, would that allow you to get out of it?
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. And the reason we both said it at the same time is because it doesn't guarantee But if you refinance after a year and you've had growth in equity and you refinance to a conventional loan and you've had the necessary 20% growth in equity, then you could refinance. They're going to get an appraisal and confirm that equity. But if you do, you can refinance to a conventional loan and get rid of that mortgage insurance.
So when would you say there would be a good time to refinance for an individual?
Well, rates are at an all-time low right now. When rates drop, I always say, you got to time it. I mean, if you bought a house 3 months ago, this probably ain't, you probably don't want to refinance at this point. But, you evaluate, and you could do an evaluation based on what's the cost of your refinance, what interest rate can you get it down to, is it truly saving you money? People refinance for different reasons, to cut their term down, all of that. But it really just depends on that person's personal situation. And to me, you got to really be, in my opinion, either saving some money or putting yourself in a better position to do it, for it to be worth it.
Yeah. I would say, a good time to refinance is, in your immediate area, you see something that's comparable to your home that just sold substantially higher, then that's a perfect time right there, because that's going to be that significant difference right there that you're looking for, because they're going to use that appraisal for yours. So
also, yeah, and when you refi, people need to know that they can also use that money to start being in the real estate investing. Like they can refi and get the cash out refi, right, and then use that as the leverage that they need to go get into another space if they didn't do the 2 to 4 unit.
Correct. And I'm gonna just point out what Humble Dad just said. So to me, I think that's a great point on why people should buy in general, because it can be like a savings account. It can be, when you're building that equity in there, that's like a natural savings account where you are able to pull that money out, that cash out, that capital out, and reinvest it if they want to go and buy more property or reinvest it in whatever it is they want to reinvest in. But it can be like a savings account versus if you're renting. Some people have reasons why they rent. It's a design, and there's nothing wrong with it. But at the end of the day, if you are going to buy, which we encourage you to buy, man, understand that it could be a great savings tool for sure.
I know the gentleman has some questions. Some more questions, but I do want to comb through some of the audience questions real quick. They have some super chats. I'll address the super chats shortly. This one right here. If we already own our homes, what do you suggest that we do? Live in it for 1 year, then rent it out? I think we answered that already, right?
That doesn't make sense. Like, if we already own the home, you already own the home, what do you suggest? Live in it for 1 year, then rent it out?
I think they might ask that question when we was having, depending on what topic we was at the moment. So this was a while ago, probably about 15, 20 minutes ago.
All right.
So I don't know the best way to answer that one.
What up, Trill?
This one says Chicago. What's going on, Trill? Would it be a discussion as to how to buy a home during the pre-foreclosure phase? Can you guys shed a little bit light on that?
Is that you talking about auctions?
The short sale phase. So pre-foreclosures, like so that means that during the short sale process, that means that they were behind on the 3 payments at least, and the bank has initiated the foreclosure process, right? So during that time, you're just gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to. They're gonna have to. Well, the bank is going to require them to list the property for sale. And once they list it for sale, you can go in and submit an offer on it. With the short sales, though, usually for a real estate transaction, it takes about 30 days to close. With short sales, when you talk about pre-foreclosures, it could take on average 6 months. I've been part of short sales that took 2 years to close to get the bank's approval, too. So it's really no rhyme or reason to it. You could take advantage of the market like that as well, too, if you do have the patience. And if you're able to stick around. But I've seen situations where they wait a long time for the bank's response for a short sale, only to have it rejected or to increase that amount, and they end up pulling out anyway as well too. So they do have that discretion also, but it's hit or miss. I've seen it work out for a lot of people though.
All right. Got another one too. They said this was really, he was just in the chat, but be sure to ask them about getting a fair appraiser too. Maybe discriminate black folks like
Good luck with that.
Yeah, man. I'll say this: we are myself, Earl's senior partner. We're part of a discriminatory appraisal group here locally, and I mean we're trying to fight it on a national level. We brought in people from National Association of Realtors. We've brought in people from the Illinois Association of Realtors, and I mean, it's kind of a known fact that there's been a lot of discrimination against appraisals, especially in our neighborhoods, unfortunately. And we are fighting against it, and we're fighting back. I would tell people, patience and persistence. And, if you feel that you got an unfair appraisal and you've had somebody do an evaluation for you, fight back. I mean, that's all we can do. And I mean, that's historically what we've done in order to, try to make improvements. So I don't, if they give you a bogus number, a bogus appraisal, and it's bogus, don't accept it. You might have to be patient. You might have to be persistent. And you might have to wait, but don't accept it. And I had one guy, just real brief, I had one guy come out doing appraisal. He appraised a house at 256. We know the house across the street just sold for 290. We like, ours is bigger, it's nicer, and it's a full remodel. His wasn't even a full remodel. Why is ours $40,000 cheaper? And that's a low number. So,
modern day redlining.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. But 2 deals later, we got an appraisal at 285, and we're trying to understand, why did this guy come in at 285? Like, I don't need to necessarily try to understand that. I already know what it is. So at the end of the day, patience. And that's kind of why I say real estate investment is not for the weak.
But Dave, is it a calculated number where the number should always remain the same no matter what appraisal person you're talking to, or could it be it should be calculated, but he just don't like y'all motherfuckers?
Yeah, and I'm gonna let Earl speak, but officially, an appraisal is an opinion of value. That's the definition. So it's tough, but Earl, please, man, shed some light on it.
So first of all, let me give you a real life example. I've been part of an appraisal that was off $100,000. Okay.
What?
Well, yeah. So just to equate that, let's see what that looks like. So just to give you an idea of what that looks like, let's say for instance your house is worth $500,000, they appraise it out at $400,000. Okay. So by them appraising you out for that, you can no longer take $80,000 and put it down toward a business, another property, a building, or whatever the case may be. So they're literally robbing you without a gun. I think I read some statistics that showed that I believe 83% of all the appraisers in the United States are Caucasian men. So of course this is strategically done. But yeah, to answer your question, Shannon, it should be uniform, right? So basically we should be pulling the same comparables, right? But the problem is, Rilla, when you're in Roseland and they're pulling comps west of Halsted, we know that's a no, right? We know that that's different. And that's what they do. They come from Palatine, they come from real far, right? From outside of their familiarity, and they just butcher it, man.
You don't know nothing about the city, nothing about the area, nothing. They just drive in and then just rip it apart.
Sounds like we need more black appraisers too. That's what it sounds like. And
that's part of the task force that Dave mentioned to as well too. So one of the solutions would possibly be, the brokers getting involved as well too, wearing double hats as well too. We bounced around that ideal as well too. Instead of leaving it up to somebody else, we can kind of fill the gap wherever we need to.
Yeah.
I got another question. Courtney Michelle said, I keep getting calls and letters from people trying to buy my home out cash. Is that an indication that the neighborhood is about to boom?
It could be.
Don't sell it. Don't sell grandma's house.
It could be. I say call a professional, try to get a referral from a professional that you feel good about, and engage them to do a market analysis for you. And then, you know, if you don't know anything about what's happening in your neighborhood, you got a lot of different places you can go. You can go to a local chamber of commerce. You know, you can go to your local alderman's office, your state rep, whatever. But there are a lot of places you can go and just get information about what's taking place in the neighborhood, and talk to professionals. But like Shannon said, don't sell grandma house yet. Get the information you need, and, you know, try to take advantage of it and max it out if that's what you're gonna do.
All right, I got another one real quick. Is it better to buy land versus a house?
I got both.
So can't go wrong with either one. I mean, depending on what you're trying to do.
A preference. It's a preference. I mean, you know, it's a preference. You know, with land, you know, you probably got less responsibility. You know, cut some grass, maybe put up a fence, whatever.
Well, I think they're probably asking that question in terms of, if you buy some land, you could build you a house, or do you buy a house and then you can just kind of remodel it, leave up one wall or whatever.
But you can also hold the land too, though.
It's a preference. Like some people, you know, and like some people want to build. If you want to build, then yeah, obviously, definitely land. If you're nervous or scared of that, you know, property. But that's really kind of personalized on kind of what your goals are and what you want to do. But I can't say one is better than the other. I don't think that's a question where we could answer that for you.
Because everybody would want to have. No, I was gonna say everybody would want to be able to. I mean, I can see the concept that why people ask, like, well, at least from my perspective, that I think he's asking, you know, should I buy land and then I could just build something fresh right there, you know, and then they'll assess the house and I pay the property tax, or should I buy a house and then I can work it? Everybody would want to be able to have a flat piece of land and then just create something in their mind and then build it from the ground up, right? You know where the bathroom is going. You know where the kitchen is going. You know where the bedroom is going. Oh, the sun rises from the east and sets in the west. And so you want to make sure that the master bedroom is on this. You want to be able to do all those kind of things, but then depends on how much money you got, depends on how much time you got, depends on how busy you are in your career. Because some people say, yeah, that would be great, but I ain't got time for that. I'd rather just buy this house. I like a lot of what it already got going on. I'm gonna knock this wall down. This is not a bearing wall. I'm gonna put this over here. We're gonna just kind of like close this wall and add a garage door, and then I'm fine with that, and I could just live like that. So it really, like the brothers said, it kind of depends on where you are. There's no such thing as a right or wrong answer in buying land versus a home. I got land because I thought I wanted to build, and it was near the airport out in Mojave. It's out way past Lancaster. I got land in Arkansas because it was thinking we wanted to build, and then you get a little older, and you're like, I never got around to building that house. I got that land, and I keep getting offers on it, but I never got around to building that whole compound, because for me, it was a compound, right? Everybody wants a compound. I was going to build this big old fancy compound, and I even had it drawn up. Never got around to it, man. I just never got around to it. So it just depends on how lazy you are, to be honest with you.
And you know, I say land, it kind of depends. Like it has to be based on location, because you don't want to just go anywhere and buy land. Yeah. Just like you know what I'm saying, like you don't want to go anywhere and buy a property. But as far as land, I mean, if the neighborhood is not highly valued, then it's gonna take a lot of money to build a house, and you're not gonna be able to get your return of investment back. It's not anytime soon, unless maybe you become the bank, unless you build it and then you say, you know what, I'm gonna own and finance it out, and then have somebody else buy from you and you become the bank. I mean, that would be the other option.
Yeah.
You speaking of Kanye West, where he went out, you know, before the divorce and all of that kind of stuff, in Wyoming, where he went out and spent 15 million, or was it 13 million or something like that, on like, I think it was like 4,000 acres. And his whole idea was he was going to build his own town. Mm-hmm. So Kanye's idea back then was, man, we could buy 4,000 acres for $13 million, which is really nothing. For 4,000 acres, we can build Kanye West town. You know what I'm saying? Or we could build Kanye, you know, the city of Kanye. And then he went out and bought the next piece of land 3 months after he bought that. And then they started having their problems. They're going through the divorce, and now Kanye wants to sell the first one. He's keeping the second one, but he wants to sell the first one for $11 million, just like that. $3-4 million gone. So you exactly, location matters. What you want to do matters. Are you with the right woman? Matters, fellas.
Yeah. And you know what? Some people can't conceptualize, things. They have to see it there physically already too. So, they'll pay top dollar for move-in ready. They don't even want to bother with a renovation.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, I want to start bringing up people I had a couple people that came in, so let me bring them in. What's going on, Elliot? Welcome to the show. What you got for us, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, man, I'm digging the conversation, bro. Real estate is a real big deal. One thing I want to add to the conversation was asset protection and anonymity. I think that's a huge thing, especially for us as brothers, man. That's an aspect that sometimes we get lost in, and I think that's a big deal. So, for example, for the properties that we have, every property is its own LLC. So every property is its own business, and so that protects us because that's none of our properties are in our name. Mm-hmm. So I think that can get lost sometimes because when you do keep them in your name, you're liable. So now you start talking about generational things. Well, you don't want those assets to be taken from you. So we sit all our properties in a holding company, and we put our properties in LLCs and in different trusts, depending on the state. Some states can get kind of weird, so then we put them in land trusts. So I think that's a big deal, man. And I think that's something that we probably want to add to the conversation because it's important. And anonymity. Like when you look up certain things about our properties, you won't find us. They'll either be in a trust. A trustee is a whole nother company, and it misses us completely because we don't want it to get back to us if something were to happen to a property. But say, for example, if someone does slip and fall, it can only be attached to that property, and then they can get the whole portfolio. So I think that's something that we probably want to add to it.
My man, yeah, absolutely. It's so many components in real estate, but that is very important, and especially when you're talking about multi-units, 2 to 4 units. When you have tenants in there, man, you want to reduce liability at all costs because they're looking for it. So,
and then I even with the duplex and stuff that we have, we separate them. Each part is its own entity, so nothing comes back to us. And so we have.
Wait, you bust it up. You bust up a duplex into individual entities. On that individual one
entities. Yes, individual entities.
Per unit number is a whole entity?
It's a whole entity. It may be in its own trust. I mean, everything is its own
y'all
deal.
Sound scared. Y'all, what y'all doing over there? Y'all just like you.
You just want to make sure that you're protected. And we sit our holding company in Wyoming because in Wyoming there's anonymity. So if someone tries to look up your business, it won't be attached to your personal name. Other states aren't like that. So Delaware, Wyoming, Vegas, Nevada, it's pretty
Nevada
dope.
Does that?
So, it depends. They're not as good as Wyoming, but they do have good real estate.
I think Elliot bring up a real important point, but I'm gonna go super basic. Parents' house, family house is so many people that are passing away. They don't have a will. They don't have a trust.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have.
They need to live in trust.
They don't have what's called a TOD, a transfer on debt. So the property are going into probate. They're going into court. The money is being ate up. So I would say on a very, very basic level, man, talk to your family, talk to your elders. Anybody who owns property, try to make sure they have plans in place so that if something happens to them, it's transitioning without having to go through court. And it's transition in a way that the owner wants it to transition. Because it don't necessarily have to pass to the children or the spouse or whoever. But basically, they should take the time to set it up so that, things are transitioning the way they want to. So I get calls probably once a week where somebody, family member passed away and a child or a husband or whatever. And now they got to go through court because they didn't have anything set up. And it's honestly, man, it's tough. It's tough to have those conversations. A person's already grieving. Now they got to hassle with the court to make sure that they get ownership. And now they got 3 or 4 siblings that they've been estranged from. And now they got to fight with the estranged siblings to try to gain ownership. And they didn't put $50,000 in the property and they can't get their money back. Like it becomes crazy. So at least getting your own house in order on a basic level, I think is very, very important.
Yeah, I lost 2 deals because of that, for sure. Like, because the siblings didn't get along.
Yeah.
And so there was no will or anything in place. And so as a result, like, I couldn't close the deal because they didn't like each other. And at one point in time, there was like, I think it was 8 siblings, and 7 had agreed, but the other one didn't agree. So it's definitely important.
One more thing I wanted to add too is it kind of protects you because it protects your money. Is that when we talked about selling your house, getting that capital to reinvest. Another thing that kind of get overlooked is making sure you protect your money by not paying taxes. So doing a 1031 exchange is something that's really dope because now you don't have to pay that capital gains tax when you sell the house, and then you buy more properties, and you kind of forego that and you keep it pushing. So that's a really dope thing. Sometimes people sell a house, they take the proceeds and do whatever, but you got to pay taxes on that. So you got to be careful with that. So a 1031 exchange is dope. That allowed us to level up, a few times where we sell for one property. Maybe you sell one property, convert it into 3 or 4 properties based on the proceeds, and you just keep doing that. If the market is allowing you to take that appreciation, do the 1031, it comes into a trust account, and you just keep flipping the money. So that's another way it avoids taxes, which is the biggest thing.
Elliot, how can I link up with you, bro?
Oh man, I'll put my email in the chat, in the back channel.
I appreciate you.
All right, bro.
I appreciate you, Elliot. Yeah, thanks for dropping them gems too.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I got a question real quick. I know you got to get to the next guest, JR. But gentlemen, do y'all invest in REITs?
REIT
is a real estate investment trust. For
yeah,
I don't personally. And I don't as well. I invest in some mutual funds that invest in REITs, but not directly per se, if that makes sense, Rilla.
Yeah. And then my other question is, why not?
Complicated?
Nah, I mean, it could be complicated, but I guess everybody's investment strategy is different. I did financial planning for a long time where I invested in mutual fund stocks and things of that nature. And I got a ton of life insurance that I call it an investment. That's my slow investment. Real estate is my more advanced, aggressive investment. So I just have a personal strategy, between the two. Now I got a little bit of crypto, I got a little bit of this, but my heavier investments are in insurance and real estate, and that's just my focus. And I guess I just never really focused on the REITs at all.
Right, and again, I'm asking like more or less for like speaking to the chat too. How important is it to have your own personal investment strategy versus mimicking what other people are doing?
I think it's critical. I think it could be the difference between your downfall and your growth. Like, you got to have a personal vision for what your investment strategy is. And the way I invest may not be great for someone else, and then you look at it, it's like kind of Shannon mentioned, Shannon, like, man, I've been in the game a long time. So you got to look at that too. It's like, I've been doing this 20 years, so somebody trying to start and mimic my strategy, they could get hurt real quick if they don't have the capital to go the distance that I'm willing to go with my money, if that makes sense. So I think it's very important to have a personalized strategy, man. It's critical. I wouldn't advise it any other way.
All right, last question. I swear, JR, last question.
No, you good, man.
Hey, so I used to build, I used to have these conversations with his brother Rico, right? And when he would talk about real estate strategy and investments and stuff like that, he was really big on Section 8, renting out to Section 8. What are your thoughts around Section 8 tenants?
I like them. I like them, especially in our community as well, too, right? So anything happen to the community, anything happen with the economy, we the first fired, last hired, right? So you want to have a nice percentage, right? So if you got a 4-unit, and you want to have a nice ratio, you want to have, to to me personally, I like to have it in my 4 unit. I like to have 3 market and 1 Section 8 voucher holder or 2 Section 8 voucher holders. So I have to have at least 1 Section 8 voucher holder in that 4 unit. Okay. I've seen situations. I mean, if I could get all four units, I would. You know, I'm not opposed to it at all, too. Section 8 voucher holders have that bad stigma. And sometimes it's not really warranted. You know, you just go through the vetting process instead of taking 30 days, maybe take 45 days and just get that extra batch of people and vet them properly.
Yeah.
Section 8 saved a whole lot of folk during
the pandemic,
COVID,
for sure.
Because a whole lot of folk out here in LA just said, I ain't paying no rent. I ain't paying no rent. And they just stopped paying, and then but Section 8 folk, like my Section 8 homies, they was like, man, my checks come in every month.
Really, I say this, man. Just like everything else, you got good CHA and Section 8 tenants, you got bad. Screen them properly, like Earl said. Personally, when I go CHA or Section 8, my one requirement is that they have to work. Okay, I don't care if they going to, working at the dollar store 4 hours or janitor. I don't care. They gotta have a job. And the reason I say that, man, is because a lot of times you get CHA tenants, they sitting at home all day. The type of crowd that they're going to attract are people that sit at home all day. And I don't know if you want a bunch of folks sitting at home all day in your building, because that's probably going to attract people with different ideas and being creative of what they could do with their time in your building. So for me, my one requirement when I go CHA is they got to work and screen them. I screen them tough. But yeah, I like them. I have some that aren't CHA. So that's it.
Yeah, I got a friend, and I was just talking to him today, and he's just sick of his Section 8 tenant. He's in a 2-flat. He does have a basement area he's looking to convert into a unit, but hasn't done yet. But it's just that, I guess he lost a job or something. Then he had to submit some paperwork in, and now he's getting fully paid, but it's just her as a tenant. Like it's the company she's bringing in. There's a guy that's always there now. She has a cat, and she's not paying like the pet fee that he enforced. She still haven't paid the $700 that he was supposed to get up in December. So it's just like he just want her out. Like I'm just want her out, but it's going to be more of a headache to even try to get her out.
But it needs to be done though. So whenever you have tenants like that, man, I don't like to go through the whole rigmarole. I just go ahead and go through the eviction process straight out.
He can get rid of it. He probably want that check, but he can get rid of it.
Yeah, but we got professional tenants out here as well too, and they will finesse their way for an additional 2 or 3 months without you even knowing. You're like, man, it's snowing again, and she's still in there, So
right.
Wait, you said professional tenant?
Yeah, man. Yeah, what they do is they call these attorneys out here. They give them advice, pro bono and everything, and basically they tell them to look out for certain infractions because, hey, if you see this infraction, we got a case, meaning I get paid too. So they about that.
I got another question. What are some programs available for people that don't have the money or financing?
Yes, I couldn't wait for somebody to ask that question. So, man, it's you need a 640 credit score. If you have a 640 middle FICO score, so for your 3 credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, the middle score, if it's 640, okay, you'll be eligible for down payment assistance up to, I want to say 10,000. Is it 10? Dave,
they got 10. Then you have certain lenders that, for example, Bank of America, they offer 15,000 down payment assistance in certain cases. Mm-hmm. It just really Earl hitting on it, but there are a couple different programs, man, where NACA I mentioned, they do 100%. It's really just getting with that real estate professional, finding out what's in your local marketplace and taking advantage of it, because a lot of it isn't necessarily national, but like IDA, the grant, some of them are more national, but get with your local real estate professional and hopefully they could guide you. But yeah, 10,000, 7,500, 15,000, it's a couple different ones.
Now, are these programs able to get you investment properties or just owning the house yourself?
Owner occupant.
Definitely owner occupant. Some of them up to 2 units. Some of them up to the 4 units, but it got to be residential for sure.
Okay.
Got to be residential.
Here's a question. Yeah, now I was going to ask, like, if say somebody does have the capital, but they're just green in terms of real estate in general, like, what would you recommend? Maybe some books or a course or something that they can just go really get familiar with the lingo and really understand what the hell it is that they're supposed to be doing in terms of taking the first steps.
Is your question first steps of buying, or you said they got the capital? You saying first steps of buying?
Right.
Okay.
And again, just getting familiar with the investment process just in general, because there's so many different layers to real estate, right? There's a lot of people that got capital and they invested the wrong way. Now they done went belly up, lost all that money just because they didn't have the right information, or they may not have took a course. They may have, hey man, I got a homeboy that's investing or whatever. He told me to do this, and it went left. So I'm the type of person that I want to like get a well-rounded view in terms of a couple books, couple articles, couple courses. And then I'll, again, just to familiarize myself with the lingo, because somebody that's not familiar, like even some of the stuff y'all using, PMIs and everything, people are like, what the hell are they talking about? You know what I'm saying? So I think like the first step in this stuff is just getting familiar with the lingo. So what route would you recommend somebody to take in terms of that?
Man. Just cut me the check, Trill. I'll take care.
Hey, you know what, man? I really would say just jump off the porch, man, because a lot of first-time home buyers, they learn doing showings, right? It's a lot of intangibles with purchasing. So you're going to learn on the job, man. And a lot of stuff that you can learn prior to that, you're going to learn even more once you're going through the process as well, too. So really, like Dave said, if you have a realtor that's really solid, they're going to point you in the right direction where it's not overwhelming. But the main reason why I wanted to come on the show this evening is because I know it's a lot of people that straddling the fence because of familiarity. They're renting just because they're familiar with the process, the fear of the unknown. And once you get rid of those two elements, man, you realize like, damn, if I would have did this 2 years ago, I could have had X, Y, and Z. But, it's not about what you know, it's about what you can prove. I know that you would rather be comfortable and well-versed prior to, but I still learn on the job too. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of give you some perspective about the real estate game. But, just jump out there and partner up with a good realtor.
So, and I'll say locally, man, everywhere they had different options on how you could learn. So here they have a real estate management course that one of our local companies is called CIC. They offer it really to the public for like $50. And it's really all about being managing your own real estate. And it's held by a local attorney. So they could take something like that. They could take a first-time home buyer course. And there are a lot of things out here that people are selling, like thousands and thousands of dollars. So I'm gonna be real, like I ain't invested none of that. I went and got my real estate license. Like if you want to spend $1,000 or $2,000 and you want to get educated and make money along the way, go get your real estate license. Like, people who invest in, I've seen people spend $5,000, $10,000 on these different courses. And a lot of times they're not necessarily utilizing those. So, try to go to your local organizations, and like they got property manager course certification, $50, $75, $100. I think that's reasonable. You can do a first time home buyer program class for free in most cases. So those are things that, your lender might know about. Those are things that your real estate professional may know about. You can get familiar with the lingo, all of that, and along the process. But if you want to get deep in the business, my advice would be get a license, man. Learn that way. Make some money at the same time.
Yeah, I hear that. Just so you guys know, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna keep you around for about another 15 minutes, and then we'll start to bring it to a close. I do want to be respectful and mindful of your time. I do see a couple of people in the back, so that may take us through that 15 minutes, and then I'll finish up with the guys just to get last minute questions. So when you guys come up, get to the point. With all due respect, just want to respect the gentleman's time. What's going on, Just June? How you doing, sir? Welcome. What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, people, man? Great conversation. I just wanted to speak to NACA. Blue Door Dave mentioned it. and it points to Earl's point as well as Trill's question. Like the house, like trying to like get your first home is overwhelming, but like that program NACA, they'll teach you everything. The biggest thing is like financial literacy because they're preparing you to be able to stay in that home. So me and my wife went through it, purchased our first home in Atlanta. In like 3 years, man, we had $50,000 in equity. I got a new job, moved to Charlotte, was able to get a dope home. Now, we're in a decent neighborhood. 4 years in, we up 180K. So like get in NACA if you're trying to do it first. They're going to teach you. Now they're going to haze you now because they're going to make sure you on your see Dave, but they're going to haze you, boy, like 6-8 months, but they're going to get you right. So now, I've refinanced my home. I've also had the whole appraisal discrimination as well, where they appraised me at like 120K, bro. And I got a house over here like going for 400, where people just bought their home maybe like 6 months for like 350 or like 300. So like y'all got to be careful about that. And like if you got the extra bread, get another appraiser.
Yeah.
For real. But with that equity, that extra $400 not going to really mean nothing. But like look at all these, the PMI thing too, man. One of the first things I did once we moved over to Charlotte was we got a conventional. Once we got a credit score up, got a savings up. So like everything you guys are saying, man, it's awesome. Like, but definitely, man, y'all look out. People in the chat, look out for those first time homeowner programs where like they put it that 10%. It'll get you well on your way, man. Where especially how the market's going now, you'll get your equity in like 3 or 4 years. You can go get you another house in another neighborhood because you got some equity kind of leverage to get a better house, better neighborhood, more value. And next thing you know, about 8 years, you might be able to flip some of that equity, actually get your first duplex or a couple doors. So man, dope conversation, man. I just wanted to add on that whole thing about NACA being that I went through it, man. And hey man, appreciate you guys, man.
All right, thanks, Judge June. Appreciate you calling in, sir. Yeah, I like this, man. The Service USA. What's going on? How you doing, sir?
How's it going, everybody? Just so you guys know, I have a hearing impairment. My old jobs didn't really do so well for me. And by the way, my real name is Jason, so you just call me Jason. Yes. Going back to the buying and pre-foreclosure, I thank you guys for answering that part. The situation is that a gentleman that I know had passed away. He had no known relatives. He had no will. I have access to Interior, and I'm currently trying to get in contact with the bank to, get the property as is, so to speak. And, I have an attorney that should be giving me a call in about a day or two, along with a couple other things. So right now I'm just trying to figure out the whole real estate game when it comes to that situation.
In that, Jason, in that particular situation, you want to go after it's typically called the REO department, real estate owned department at the bank. They pretty much are going to manage. Now, keep in mind, if he owned it, they're probably feeling like somebody's going to step up, but at some point they're going to, foreclose on it or whatever, take it over. The only way they're going to be able to sell it to you is if they've taken it back. And you're going to talk to the real estate owned department or the REO department. And typically REO department. The bank is typically going to have that department, and they pretty much control all of the real estate that's owned by the bank for the most part.
Okay. So REO department, I'll be looking for that. Yeah. All right. Thanks a bunch, guys.
All right.
That's pretty much it.
Appreciate you.
And Rilla, peace. I love you guys. I have to go on the Patreon. I just forgot. I'll do that right now. So thanks a bunch for everything. You guys keep going. Stay true. Bye.
Peace.
All right, bro.
All right. Appreciate you, Jason. Thank you. Mr. Logic said, any tips on using the VA home loan? So if you guys want to tap in a little bit deeper with it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you want to keep in mind, in addition to just a VA loan is a loan for someone who's served in the military. I know very clearly they got to have a DD 214 in order to take advantage of it. But it's 100%, no money down. There's no mortgage insurance. To me, it's probably one of the best loans that are out there for people, and you can get the seller to pay your closing costs if you can in this market. And you can come out of pocket with $0. I sold a $760,000 building to a vet, and he was out of pocket like $2,000. $2,000 to get a $760,000 building. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great loan. They also have, I just did a sale, $500,000 to a vet, $550 to be exact. And I think he was out of pocket like $4,000, but he did a VA renovation loan. They have those as well. So you can use that to create more leverage and more equity for yourself. This probably, to me, man, it's probably one of the most underutilized, underrated programs that are out there. If you have access to it, AKA Shannon, take advantage of it, brother. Go buy some more real estate, man.
I'm sitting on it like a gold mine. Like, you know, I'm sitting on it like my Bitcoin. It just, I look at it and I say, when am I going to use it? When am I use it?
They removed the limit on VA loans. I got people spending $2 million on the VA loan. They removed the limit, man. Please.
It used to be like 700. I watched it go up year after year. I was like, oh, it's 500. Oh, it's now 600. Now it's 700. And then when they took it off, they said I can get a $1.5 million house in Oceanside. What?
Crazy.
That's what I use for my home.
I'm glad I didn't use it. Man. I'm glad I didn't use
That's what I use. I use my VA loan, man.
I'm gonna go back and serve in time just so I could get one.
Right. And the process.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. It's waiting, and I got my DD-214 in my safe, and I know I'm ready. And you know, and I'm in the VA system. You know, I deal with the VA all the time, and I just haven't used it. I'll just be like, damn, I'm getting older. It's like, damn, what I need to use it. I get it. I understand, but I've gone through 2 divorces too. Okay. You know, and so I'm actually in a position now to use it, but before, I'm glad I didn't because of my circumstances before. That's got me. It's like, ooh, I'm glad I didn't do that. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad that now that the limit is lifted, it's like, oh, I can go get something else. You know, it's something that I can actually. So I'm actually, by waiting, I got lucky, and especially with the divorces and all the other stuff that I've gone through in life. But I need to go. But that GI Bill, I need to go ahead and knock it out and just. You know, because you only get one, but I haven't done it. I haven't done it at all.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I use for my home, man. It was in the process was super easy, bro. It's super easy.
Yeah. They tell me all the time. Oh, you served? Okay, sign this. We'll get the bread.
Super easy.
Thank you, Sergeant Ross. Sergeant Ross, thank you for your service. We appreciate you. Sign here.
Gentlemen, is there any advice that we haven't covered that you just want to share with us, man? I mean, I know you guys' portfolio is pretty large. I hope to be there one day. I'm definitely going to try to glean some of this advice. I'll pay. But is there anything that we haven't talked about that you guys just want to share to the people?
I'm going to just say that, well, first of all, I think Rilla made a question. You can find me on Instagram at Blue Door Dave Real Estate. You can find me there. But I'll say this as advice, man. Time is not on our side. Start now. You know, they talk about investing. The sooner you start, the better you'll be off. I mean, whether that's investing in, whether it's mutual funds, savings, whatever the case may be, real estate, start now, man. Time is not on our side. Like, it ain't waiting for no man, no woman. Start now. Like, people look at, oh, the market is up, I should wait, man. Look, start now. But, you know, get in your lane and start now. Because time, I mean, with time, just imagine the growth and the equity and the savings. Like, even if you bought and you were bought a little high, you know, you're still going to be building equity in that investment. And to me, it's better than, you know, I would say renting if you're in a position to do it and you want to do it, you know, but start now, man. That'd be my advice. Learn from some experts or get with people that you feel you could trust and learn from them and start now, man. So don't wait. That's my advice. Don't wait.
5 years from now, today will be 5 years ago. 5 years from now, today will be 5 years ago. So get started now. Exactly.
Yeah. What you got for us, Brother Earl?
Man, same thing, man. You know, I mean, I just read an article earlier about, you know, somebody complaining about the interest rate going up. But I mean, rent is 100% interest. You know, there's nothing going toward the principal. So I don't care how you slice it. So, you know, we can play tit for tat back and forth, but at the end of the day, I've seen what owning real estate has done for families. And, You know, I mean, without that, man, you wouldn't have anywhere to go. You know what I'm saying? It just creates so many different options for you that you probably wouldn't have any other way. So, you know, I would encourage anybody, you know, that's on the fence, especially that worked for 2 years, filed their taxes for 2 years, and have a 640 credit score. There's no reason why you should be renting right now.
I got a couple more things I want to do real quick. I know Lodge want me to answer his last question, so I'm going to do that. Somebody said that you can use the VA loan multiple times. That's correct, right? Is that true?
I've had somebody use it. I don't think, and Shannon can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you can use it multiple times while you have a VA loan on a property. I don't know. Go ahead.
The sweetest one of them all is the GI Bill. You can use that once and once only, right? And then with the VA loan, if you're in a current VA loan, you can't open up a second loan.
Right, correct.
Right. And so once the VA loan is used once, that entire mortgage needs to be paid off. You're done with it, moved on, and then you could turn around and open up another VA loan after that last one is paid off and finished, and the deed is passed on to purchase another primary residence. That's how that works. But how many people actually do that? It's not that many people. But then there ain't that many veterans that, you know, is using that anyway. So,
hey, Logic, I think this is your statement or question. Okay, what about the 25K modification housing benefit for 100% VA?
Pull up, Logic.
What about
I never even heard of that. I didn't even know that they had remodeling for the VA. I gotta look. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, it's a VA renovation. There's no cap on it. I wonder if he's talking about a streamlined VA renovation loan. So in FHA they have 203Ks. So an FHA loan, they have a 203K, which is a renovation loan. And if you stay within 35,000 or lower, then you could do what's called a streamlined 203K. And it's just an easier process. So I'm wondering if he's talking about a similar process for a VA. I don't know, but they never distinguish the difference. But you know, that could be the case where he's talking about a streamlined renovation loan for a VA. But a renovation loan is a renovation loan. So, you know, if you need to do some updates with a property, and if it's streamlined, if that's what he's referring to, it's just an easier process than getting something that's more than that amount, because then you have to bring in an actual inspector and a number of things, and it's just a little bit more of a process.
And usually, like when you have an amount small like that, 25, 30,000, usually, you know, you can't do any major renovations, like any type of structural changes, something like that. So,
all right, this is the last point I want to make. So there are young men that's out there that really don't want to go to college. Let's just be honest, right? They just really not checking for college. Would you guys, with all the knowledge you guys know now, would you recommend people exploring other opportunities to gain wealth in the world without going to college, or do you think it's necessarily?
Absolutely. We were duped, right? We were duped to think that, you know, once we go to college and graduate, we were going to go into our field and we were going to make X amount of money, right? But what happened was we went to school, we got all these degrees, and we still face, you know, a lot of glass, you know, ceilings and a lot of hidden barriers that prevented us from excelling, right? So to answer your question, yes, absolutely. In particular, like any type of trade, you know, get into the trade. It's very lucrative. And it's a shortage too, as well, too. So yeah, it's definitely explore other options. College is not the end all be all that they tried to paint it out to be.
Yeah. And I say every situation is different, man. At the end of the day, if you want to go to college and you want that experience, go have it. If you don't, then don't, but have a plan. Don't say, oh, I just don't want to go to college and you want to sit at home on your parents' dollar every day. That's going to be a problem. Have a plan. But I will say this, my relationships that I built from going to college are multi-million-dollar relationships. I've made millions of dollars with some of my buddies that I went to school with, and I've made a ton of money with guys that I met through guys that I went to college with. I mean, I got an exotic car company where we own several exotic cars and we rent them out, and it's through a relationship I built from somebody I went to college with. So, you know, at the end of the day, that network is really, to me, what it's about. So if you want to go to college, enjoy yourself. If you don't want to go, have a plan in place and figure out what you want to do.
Yeah, I think that's very important, man, to kind of highlight, to give options. So if you don't want to go to college for whatever reason, then just keep in mind that there are some other opportunities to be able to be responsible and enjoy life. You just got to get ahead of the pack, man. So this is game right here. Real estate is a real thing. I suggest you guys get familiar with it when you are like sophomores, juniors in high school. You know, take this information in, but don't take it lightly. You know, the more you gain, it's like a formula. Once you get it, you just keep like rinse and repeat. It just keep happening. And then you just take some chances, take some risks. But guess what? You got money to back it up. So if you take a risk, you know, you're not tripping because you still got money put away. And then also understanding that college is a great networking experience. I wouldn't even know Dave if it wasn't for college, to be honest.
There you go.
So networking is good. And I know a lot of people, man, believe it or not, I may not speak to everybody, but just going out to a lot of social events throughout the city, and then being able to like recognize somebody, sometimes just the strength of somebody just recognizing you, it's an opportunity. So, and then you kind of get out your comfort zone, because when you go to college, it's a whole different experience when you living on campus. I didn't stay on campus too long. It was like 2 years, and then I bounced, but the experience is like no other. So keep in mind, if you want to experience, if you want to challenge yourself, and if your career calls for it, like doctors have to go, you know, attorneys have to go. So those things that you can't get around of. But if you can't, just go for the experience, man. If I could tell somebody this information, I said, you're gonna go to college, try to pick a field where you know you're gonna get that bag, like engineer. If I could go back, I wish I would have did engineer. I actually tried to do engineering, but that math and chemistry was kicking my ass, man. All that shit that I seen when I was at Julian, I'm like, they was giving you the answers. You know, they really wasn't teaching you nothing. And then I seen that chart. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, damn, I didn't realize this chart was gonna mean this much in chemistry. Then I went to econ. I used to fall asleep in lecture, man. I'd be like, what the fuck am I even coming to this damn class, man? This motherfucker just rocking me to sleep. But yeah. All right. Any last words from the panel? You guys got any last words for them?
Go ahead, Ricky.
Well, I was just gonna thank y'all for the information and your time, man. I appreciate y'all energy and presence, bro. Thanks so much for doing your thing.
I appreciate y'all having us, man.
Yep, definitely. Thank you guys, man.
All right. Yeah, thank you, man. It's been real, man. Make sure you guys go ahead, Dave and Earl, if they want to reach out to you again, go ahead and highlight it one last time.
Absolutely. You can find me on Facebook, Earl Solomon. SOLOMON. Actually, we have a Black Male Expo coming up this upcoming Sunday between the hours of 11 and 4 in the Chicagoland area. So that's an expo. So I know Trill was talking about, man, what can we do to kind of study and prepare for it? We got a 4-hour session. Then we're going to watch the game on the big screen afterwards. So I'm excited about this Sunday as well. If you're in the Chicagoland area, come out.
Where's that info at? That's on your Facebook page? Where's that info at?
Yes, sir. It's on my Facebook page. Yeah.
That's a bet.
Yeah.
And you guys can definitely check me out on Instagram at Blue Door Dave Real Estate. You can find me there, communicate with me there. Man, happy to just network and meet people and, help when I can. So, and I'll actually be with Earl this Sunday as well. I'm one of the sponsors there. So definitely, check us out. If you're local, man, come check us out. And we're focused on, our youth, our men. So that's going to be a great event. It's going to be a dope event.
And real quick, Mr. Logic has said the GI Bill is for school. He's correct. That's the but remember, Mr. Logic, I'm an old school soldier. I was in the Army 31 years ago. I joined in 1991. So back then, the GI Bill, it included home loan guarantees then, and then now they have what is called the post 9/11 GI Bill, which changed, and the GI Bill changes all the time. Bush changed it, Obama changed it, and so it changes all the time. And now it predominantly means just school. But back when I was in, the GI Bill included the home loan. And so I when I speak and say stuff, I'm thinking about when I was a young soldier, 19 years old. So that's all.
All All right, well, there you have it, man. Gentlemen, thank you guys for your time. Appreciate you. I'll be sure to connect with you. Nice meeting you, Earl.
Oh, my pleasure, man.
Man, I'm so glad you came. I'm so glad Kay put that through. So shout out to Kay. I appreciate you for the plug. Man, definitely. I enjoyed it. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. The King Talk. Catch us next Tuesday at 7:30 Central. Tomorrow we got JB on Broken Dusty show. That's coming on at 8 o'clock Central Time. So make sure I said 7:30 for King Talk. That's 8 o'clock. We moved it up. So 8 o'clock Central Time. Next Tuesday, JB tomorrow. All right, y'all. Y'all enjoy y'all evening. Appreciate y'all. I will be connected with y'all. Thank you.
Chi-Town, stand up. Chi-Town, stand up.
Yes, sir.
Down.
Peace.
All right.
Peace.
All right, y'all.
Y'all be weak in the knees. Stand up. Stand up.